Hi there, I'm Thomas Lamb. I'm CEO of Myriad Uranium. We are a CSE listed uranium explorer with quite an advanced project in Wyoming. It's called the Copper Mountain Uranium Project. We have a 75% earnable interest in it. Union Pacific Railway spent, in today's dollars, $117 million on it in the 1970s. And they almost had a mine built. And it's very interesting. Look forward to telling you more about it.
Well, absolutely. Now, we saw you I think it's around PDAC time. But what I'd like you to do is we'll very quickly remind people what you got, how you picked it up. So why don't we start with that, and then we're going to move into the raise that you're doing at the moment and use of proceeds. So give us a reminder of how you picked this thing up.
We have been exploring for uranium in Niger, right next to Imararan, world's second largest deposit, down the street from DASA, of course, well-known global atomic project. There was a coup in Niger a year ago. We had to pivot. We did a deal to earn up to 75% of the Copper Mountain Uranium Project in Wyoming. Neither we nor our deal partner in that had a full understanding of the project. During the LOI phase, the due diligence phase, we acquired a big pile of data and went through it and signed the deal, and that coincident with with reviewing the data, and it revealed a really, really fantastic project. So that's how we acquired the project, and then it revealed this amazing stuff. The deal itself is we have to spend $5.5 million Canadian over 4 years, and Rush Rare Metals is our deal partner.
Right. Okay. Now, the thing about this is that Union Pacific had done about 2,000 drill holes. And ranges in terms of resource estimate from them,
sure,
somewhere between 15 and maybe even up to 65 million pounds, which is a whole bunch of pounds in the ground. Your job is actually to prove up that data. So, where are you at in terms of gathering data? Because it really was almost a case of knocking door to door with some of the players,
speaking
right?
to ranchers, experts who used to work there, who have had the dusty data for 40 years. We've just been getting as much as we can. In fact, we have a sort of an updated way to speak about the historic resource, which is Union Pacific had a 6-pit mine plan. We now see they had a feasibility study to build a large-scale conventional uranium mine, which was just aborted before mine construction, 1979, with the 3 Mile Island accident, the drop in the uranium prices. So they had a 6-pit mine plan, and they had different categories than we have now under 43-101. This is for their internal engineering and planning purposes. They estimated between 15 and 30 million pounds for their mine plan. But with the 2,000 boreholes, they believed that if you just kept drilling and increased the understanding of the project area, you'd have potentially over 65 million pounds. So we have more documents, we understand it better. And this is just drilling down to 183 meters, vertical holes, and only looking for these horizontal lying pods fairly near surface. But new understanding, which people can, they look at our PowerPoint, our news releases, tells us that the high grade lies in these near vertical faults in the granite that host high grade. And so we think we can go, we have good chances of going well beyond these pounds and getting quite a bit more high grade, going deeper and getting a lot more high grade. Geologists want to be conservative, but we see what's there. We think we can go beyond this. Could be one of the biggest projects or the biggest project in Wyoming. It has that potential.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a lot of people out in Wyoming at the moment, including very famous IT individual, Bill Gates. Talk to me about this data component there. In terms of, have you been through the process? So have you been reprocessing all of that data to inform a drill program? Because I presume that's why you're raising money.
Exactly. So since about October, November, we have been carefully going through the data and then also digitizing it and then adding it to our GIS systems so that it's all in the layers that we need to best understand it. And what we've decided to do first, so we want to bring these historic pounds current. It's priority one. We are focusing on the Canning deposit. That was the center of the 6-pit plan Union Pacific had. that's up to 20 million pounds, just down to 183 meters, again, in these horizontal pods, largely horizontal pods. We are going to go straight there and start at the high-grade zone within the Canning deposit. And we're going to drill about 83 boreholes. We've applied for the drill permits already in Wyoming. We're going to drill about 56 RC holes and the rest diamond holes. And whereas Union Pacific drilled, again, to 183 meters or is that 500, almost 600 feet, we have a lot of holes planned, or a number of holes planned down to 1,000 feet to intersect these vertical structures. And we're going to come at them instead of straight down, come at them orthogonally to intercept them. And so we're going to go to the high-grade zone. We're going to prove up pounds. And, we're even going to try to get some of those pounds into the higher categories above inferred, indicated perhaps. And so this is what we're going to get started doing. That's why we're raising money. $5 million is what we've announced.
Right.
And a lot of your viewers have seen, we've just announced that we closed the first tranche at $2.9 million. We did that because we just needed to get the money to pay for upcoming geophysics and advanced costs related to the drilling. But the private placement continues right now. Money is still flowing in nicely. And the private placement, by the way, is at 25 cents, a 25-cent unit with a 30-cent warrant at, 30-cent half warrant at for 24 months. Yeah.
Right. So tell me this. So there's a few things I want to kind of get back to you on, but while we're on the topic of money, it's in terms of that money, that private placement, where's that coming from?
We're very lucky. We have some expert investors, specialist uranium investors who are very well known. They heard about us through our network and our board member, Tom Lee, and we've been talking for quite a while. They got quite interested in our project. They did a bit of put their toe in our data room to take a look, and their expert out of Denver, Doug Christofferson, got very keenly interested out of the gate and has spent the last 2 months doing a deep dive into our data room. So these investors are well known to the public. Word will get out as to who they are, and they are leading our financing along with some funds that have come along. And so
this is like kind of casual group of people taking a punt on uranium. They've been in the data room. They actually understand technically what they're looking at, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Doug Christofferson has understands what management often feels this way about their own project, that it's really hard to communicate the potential of their project. But Doug has gone in on behalf of these investors and understands that Union Pacific had a plan, but there's so much more to this project. It's a standalone, large-scale conventional uranium mine that could be built along Union Pacific's lines, but beyond that, there's so much more. And so the pounds are there in the ground. I have to caveat that 43-101, not current, et cetera. So that's a foundation that already puts us at a value far beyond our current market cap. But the potential, exploration potential, and then the potential of our existing area, well-known areas, by again drilling across the faults, finding the high grade, and going deeper, we could really go way beyond what Union Pacific had in mind.
Right. Okay. Now, timing is everything with these things. Look, markets, uranium market for public companies, public equities, has had a bit of a reset holding pattern going on at the moment. I think most stocks are down. I think people a little bit impatient, and I think patience is required. But you've got to raise money from strategic investors. Sounds interesting to me. Your plans for that seem interesting to me, but you must be conscious about getting that balance between getting after the data, challenging and getting after the data which you've got, and signaling to the market with the right sorts of headlines, press releases, etc., to give people a sort of sense of what could be. So you've got to there's a very fine dance that you've got to do.
On the one hand, we think we're different than the rest. We're separate and apart, and then we can maybe go a different path because we now have the support of these really specialist groups that understand us, and they're going to help support us as we go. At the same time, we are a CSE listed junior with we need to talk to retail investors and get them excited and interested. So we have to do both in this market that is it's going a bit sideways right now. So we're doing our best to communicate. We never spend very much money. That's one thing. We're not a big promotional. We don't have haven't had a big promotional budget and hitherto, and we like to keep everything quite lean. So we are transitioning to the next level now. How do we strike that balance? We think about it every day. We have an extremely interesting project at Copper Mountain, and we're going to try to explain that as best we can.
No, I think it's quite good because you moved from this phase where people may be doubting the fact that you could piece together the story. Having to go around and hunt down the data is hard. A little bit of luck required as well. But having kind of put together what you've got, we're looking at this and thinking, well, actually, this drilling, the one, you've got the money, but two, this drilling campaign you're about to do, I think could be a game changer for you, certainly in terms of where you are now and in terms of the leverage potential of where you are now.
We've had conversations with people over the past year or 9 months. Look, we have this project, and they kind of look at it and they see it as an old project from the 70s, and they doubt. It's just it's in the foggy past, and this is going to bring it real. It's going to bring it current, and we're going to be able to show people, and it's really nice. We're going to be drilling a very nice area. Anaconda in the 1990s took a very close look at it. We reported on this a few months ago. They showed that this area that we'll be drilling, they had intercepts, very long intercepts. This is Union Pacific drilling that Anaconda analyzed, and the intercepts were up to 291 feet, 3,850 ppm, and lots of material in the 1,000, 2,000 ppm range too. And again, all down only to 183 meters, a lot terminating in mineralization. So we're going to go there and we're going to sort of make all this real. And I think it's going to be very interesting to people, especially if you compare it to other projects around. We're going to show that we have a ton of uranium, and it's and we can bring it current. So it's going to be transformed here.
I think that's the ask, right? That's the ask of your current shareholders and anyone looking at this, thinking if you can do that. So what do people need to believe for them to maybe have a punt at this?
Well, take a look at our news releases and see that this really was a really big project for Union Pacific. Take a look at what, in particular, Neutron Energy, and which is now Encore, we've quoted them, some of their reports that we have, their internal reports. They owned part of our project area, sort of the southern part with a little bit in the middle, from about 2006 to 2012. Take a look at what they said about Copper Mountain. Enormous potential, just not only known resource, but the potential too. Because they did a deep dive. So you don't even have to take my word for it, kind of thing. Is take a look at that, and then also what our George Vanderwalt, our geologist, has said about what we're doing here. We have the pounds. Insert 43-101 caution. Union Pacific was about to build a large-scale uranium mine, and then there's massive upside potential. And we'll be speaking more, talking about this in the next couple of weeks in some upcoming news releases, because we've had this outside expert on behalf of these incoming investors do a deep dive. We're going to be able to sort of talk about that too. So
talk a little bit more about what they think. I mean, obviously, Wyoming's getting pretty interesting, as we referred to earlier in this conversation, where it seems to be getting more high profile. I think U.S. uranium explorers and developers and producers actually getting very high profile. It seems to be the place to be, and it seems to be the place that's getting attention from the U.S. government too.
Yeah, we're in the best possible jurisdiction in the world, I believe. I know Athabasca, high grades. There's been some M&A announced in the past week. Exciting. I think that's going to kick off M&A. But of course, Wyoming is inside the United States. Politicians are very conscious in the U.S., bipartisan support for uranium, up and down from production all the way to building making the fuel rods. It's all going to happen in the U.S. There's a lot of money, and there's going to be money is already pouring into Wyoming, as we know. There's going to be a lot of M&A in Wyoming. And, I think fundamentally this is part of the view of these investors and that are coming in. They see us, we have the pounds, insert 43-101 caution, but Union Pacific did great work, 2,000 boreholes, had a 6-pit mine plan, feasibility studies. And so the pounds are there. And we're going to hopefully inexpensively prove them up. And then M&A is coming. Of course, Wall Street banks forecast uranium price rises next year, year after. You got Bank of America saying $115 a pound soon, and higher the year after, et cetera. So M&A, high uranium price. We're in the center of Wyoming. Huge amount of historic work at Copper Mountain. So we're feeling really good.
I think just in simple terms, I think the investment thesis here is just as you say. If you can prove up these pounds or go some way to doing that, Wyoming is the kind of epicenter for a roll up. It will be happening. There's lots of kind of small companies in Wyoming, trying to do their thing, but we're talking about 5 million, 10 million pounds. This would be one of the bigger, probably one of the biggest. So, absolutely brand stories in there. So I think in terms of taxis off the rank, you probably got to be the first port of call, right?
We think so. We especially at our valuation, our market cap around 10 million Canadian is a legacy of us exploring a niche area, just being an early stage explorer, and people's minds have not shifted. Investors' minds have not shifted, and we haven't invested in. We haven't had big budgets. We raised small amounts of money. We only have had, before this private placement announced and with the tranche close, we only had 34.5 million shares out and 46% insider ownership, and only raising small amounts of money. But once we are, activated here, I think we could have an order of magnitude market cap adjustment in fairly short order, because you can do back of the envelope calculations, and that's well within an easy and sensible range to get to, and that's just advancing a bit. So, we're in a good position.
Good. Well, there was a nice quick catch up, real simple story to understand for as an investor. I guess you just got to go and start drilling.
We go do it. Yeah. Geophysics starts in a couple of weeks. This is ground mag. That's going to help us target our drilling. We have, again, 82, 83 holes planned for late summer, early fall. And we've got their drill permit applications in. And we'll be telling the world about this in some upcoming news releases in some more detail.
Good, man. I look forward to it. Stay in touch. Let us know how you get on.
Thanks, Matthew.